And when we look at agriculture, farmers are not always making that money.
Shoe has shelf life. Even grains. Grains also, there are challenges with shelf life. When it comes to vegetables, the shelf life is not there. And you have made the product. Now the product has to go. Today, actually, the day we are speaking, price of tomato at the mandi is 7 rupees. The manufacturing cost of an organic tomato is 8 to 12 rupees.
You're growing it for 12 rupees and selling it for 7 rupees. Is this something you also have to go through? In today's market list, especially in India's scenario, multiple people are claiming organic. What is the reality? How many of these people are truly organic?
Today, the sad thing is the consumer doesn't trust the word organic at all. There is a technology right now where you can scan a vegetable and actually tell the nutrient content of it. If you bring the technology to India and implement it as an app in your cell phone, that is also possible.
What is deep organic farming?
It's a soil first approach where plants are just byproducts and soil is the main product.
Should a consumer not eat vegetables at all or eat vegetables, let's say, which have pesticides or chemicals in them?
If you take a tissue sample of the umbilical cord, the cord that connects the baby and the mother, the tissue sample of the American mother on an average contains 200 plus chemicals. So in those 200 chemicals, at least 100 plus are carcinogenic. So that gave me the shock that even the mother's womb is not safe. See, today in the market, you can get 50 to 60 rupees kg consistently for high quality palak. And in 30 days, palak is ready. And if you do proper crop rotation, you are looking at 6 to 8 tons of yield per crop and 6 crops a year at 60 rupees. You can do the math. It's a cash provider.
24 lakhs.
24 lakhs, that's right. 24 lakhs an acre.
Per year?
Per year.
What's the selling rate we're assuming?
Bhoomi farms can buy from you as a farmer 50 to 60 rupees.
In today's episode, we have sat down with Mr. Shankar Venkatraman, who is the co-founder of the company Bhoomi Farms. Bhoomi Farms is a Bangalore-based organic farming business which has been in the organic farming space for the last 6 years. In this episode, we have tried to understand the ground realities of organic farming. What is organic farming? What is the reality of the brands who are portraying themselves to be organic? And most importantly, if you are a youngster, how can you approach this industry? We have divided this episode into 3 to 4 major parts. Firstly, what are the decisions you need to take before getting into farming? Secondly, once you get into farming, how do you work with soil? What are the key factors you must keep in mind? And third and most importantly, how can you build a business within the organic farming space? Shankar sir has over 13 years of experience across USA and India doing only organic farming, and he has shared a lot of these experiences with us in today's episode. This episode has been shot in English, keeping in mind the guests' convenience, and I promise you that if you watch this episode till the end, you will go back with an abundance of knowledge. If you enjoyed this episode, please comment and let me know what other guests would you like to see on this channel. And like always, thank you for your support and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Okay, so we'll keep this podcast in English, sir, because you have so much knowledge and I want to do my best to bring out as much as I can out of your experience, right? So we were talking about glyphosate before we started this podcast.
Yeah.
You come from America in the sense that you've done your education there. Of course, you're an Indian, but you've done your education there. You've done your farming there. You have lived every tech bro's dream of being in Silicon Valley. How does one leave that life behind and move towards agriculture in India? Let's start there.
My journey was very simple. I lost my business in 2015. I was doing a farming business in US. And there was this NAFTA agreement that came into effect where Mexican farmers could bring a lot of vegetables from Mexico into US without any tariff. So essentially, they were paying $15 a week for their employees. And in California, I was paying $15 an hour for my employees.
Oh my God.
So there is a huge difference in the price for the vegetable. So slowly I was phased out of many vegetables because the restaurants I was selling to, they were demanding lower and lower price. So I was forced to scale the business. So I bought bigger tractor, bigger equipment and, expanded my production. But at some point I ran out of money. So it became very tight, and I decided to shut my organic farming business in the US.
Hmm.
So I was jobless.
This was in US and you were doing organic farming itself.
Yeah.
Why organic farming? So like, again, why farming firstly? Again, going back to that question. You're not a farmer by birth or by your family parents were farmers?
Everything is tied to my daughter. I had my daughter when I was 31. That's the beginning of my farming journey.
Okay.
Now I am 52.
Hmm.
So 21 years. That's the age of my daughter also. So one thing that I understood during a health crisis when she was 6 months old is um, in the tissue, if you take a tissue sample of the umbilical cord, the cord that connects the baby and the mother,
Hmm.
the tissue sample of the American mother, on an average, contains 200 plus chemicals.
Okay.
The umbilical cord tissue sample. So, in those 200 chemicals, at least 100 plus are carcinogenic or cancer causing. So, that gave me the shock that even the mother's womb
Hmm.
is not safe. So, my daughter, for no mistakes she did, had some health challenges. Now she's doing great, but that required a lot of change, a lot of adjustment, a lot of adapting to different type of food, all that. So that was the change that happened in my life, and people don't understand this or emotionally connect to it unless it happens in their family. So, and it takes time for people to digest this. And that change made me think that, hey, you know what? We should change our food. Then I started doing gardening. Gardening led to traveling to Salinas Valley. In Salinas Valley, there are hundreds of farmers who have 250, 300, 500,000 acres, even 500,000 acres.
My God.
Yeah, that's like a
Normal in US.
like a basket. What do you call it? It's called as the salad basket of California. So perfect climate for 10 months a year, right next to the beach. So plains, miles and miles of vegetables growing there, ideal weather conditions. So that's where I traveled. I was 1 hour away from Sunnyvale, California. So I could travel and learn. So weekends I will get very excited and I will go pick strawberries, pick melons, pick heirloom tomatoes.
All organic.
Of course, all organic. And not all the farmers there are organic, but I selected the organic farmers. So Phil Foster was one of my guides. He ran a company called Pinnacle Organics.
Phil Foster.
Phil Foster. So this is like 20 years ago. So he still is running that company, I think. But that's where I learned a few things. Like this, I met so many farmers. Then I started going to conferences that, Eco Farm conference is a good example. There many farmers came and presented their work. So that's where the links start happening, and things start clicking. And then I realized that this is more interesting than what I do.
Then engineering.
Chip design.
Chip design.
Yeah. So slowly the heart shifted to agriculture and the mind was still in
chip design.
Chip design because this pays the bills.
True.
Yeah.
So I think, sir, one thing here which most people do not often realize, which I think you realized very early on, was the fact that the problem to possibly the health issue your daughter had, or the issue which most American mothers are having, could be agriculture. Because naturally, as soon as you found that problem, you wanted to go towards agriculture, right? I think most people need to kind of understand the correlation. What made it, when did it strike you that, okay, this health issues which you're facing today or seeing in society today are actually because of agriculture? Was there one particular moment or instant, or you just instantly went to do your research?
Yeah, so actually it started with my research on reading books. In fact, I keep telling people that I can point to 20 books in agriculture that will prevent you from reading 200 books in agriculture. So I do have that list. I will share with you.
Please, yeah.
The point is that all those books clearly told that soil, in some sense, is like a jasmine flower.
Meaning?
Like a lot of people think that soil is dirt. You need to plow it, and you need to. It's a hard material, you know. But soil is very delicate.
Hmm.
It's like a jasmine flower. Now, how do you handle jasmine flower? You wrap it in a banana leaf. You sprinkle water in it. Keep it fresh,
Hmm.
And same way, soil, right? You mulch it.
Hmm.
You don't plow it. This is a case by case scenario. You cannot say that you cannot treat 5 different people the same way.
Hmm.
If they have a health issue, you have to treat them differently. Same way, different soils are different. So in some sense, in some cases you have to plow it. Some cases you shouldn't.
Hmm.
It depends on how much clay content it has,
Hmm.
how much of how much sandy it is,
Hmm. Hmm.
and how often you should plow it also plays a role. Maybe you can plow it once a year, and after 3 years you can stop plowing. It depends on how you deal with it. So soil is very delicate. So that's exactly where I would say when you use all these chemicals, what it's going to do to the soil opened up for me. So that's exactly when I figured that soil is the key.
Hmm.
Soil is the root of everything.
Of all problems.
Yes.
We'll come more into detail of that, right, sir?
Yeah.
But I think I've done maybe 120, 130 podcasts at this point.
Okay.
But I don't think I've come across someone who's done farming both in US and India. So you have a clear idea that to organic farming, how it happens in America versus how it happens in India. How do you compare organic farming in these two countries? What are the differences in the systems? Like, is it easier there? Is it easier here?
Definitely, I would say organic farming is easier in the US.
Why?
Reasons are simple. First is, in the US, you get a lot more support in terms of organic inputs, right? For example, if you want to start a commercial organic farm, you need highest quality compost. In India, you have to make it. In the US, you can buy it. In India, the cow dung that you buy to make your own compost, it is so hard to get it without plastic.
Really?
It just gets started on the cow dung alone. The second aspect is university extension really helps you when you want to get started with organic farming. In India, university research
Hmm.
and agriculture are a little bit divided, meaning university research continues to publish papers, does research, but farmers try to struggle alone. Third aspect is in the US, there is no such thing called mandi system.
Markets are more organized.
Markets are much more organized, prices are much more standardized, and if you compete well, you do a good job, you get the right price, and you can make a profit using organic farming methods. In India, people confuse the market and the method. What I mean by that is method is principle based, and market is driven by supply and demand, right? Supply and demand applies there also, but there is a minimum price. Let's take an example of a shoemaker. If it costs 500 rupees to make a shoe, the shoemaker will price it at 750 to 1000 minimum. But his profit is guaranteed. And shoe has shelf life, right? So when it comes to vegetables or even grains also there are challenges with shelf life. You need good storage, otherwise you lose it. So the shelf life is not there, and you have made the product. Now the product has to go and has to be sold. And today, actually, the day we are speaking, price of tomato at the mandi is 7 rupees. The manufacturing cost of an organic tomato is 8 to 12 rupees.
You're growing it for 12 rupees and selling it for 7 rupees.
7 rupees.
Is this something you also have to go through?
As a farmer, if I try to sell to somebody, I would have gone through it. Luckily, as a business, I have customers who will buy it at the right price. So we are okay. So the truth is, as a farmer, it's almost impossible to succeed in India. And as an organic farmer, even more difficult. It just feels good. When you see a cluster of tomatoes ripening beautifully, sizing up nicely, and you are sure that you are very close to harvest,
Hmm.
and you're going to get a yield of 20 tons this in an acre as an organic farmer, you are thrilled, right? And the fact that your soil is smelling good, getting better year after year,
Hmm.
and is giving better yield for you, and you can feel it, and you have mastered the technique to do it, that gives some satisfaction. So when you are so connected to the soil, connected to your farm, you no longer want to do something else.
Today, sir, basically, I want to try and tell people about the realities of organic farming. Now, I am coming to this episode with two angles. Of course, one angle which you personally went through, I want to understand the correlation between soil health and human health, because subsequently, somewhere or the other, I have come to the conclusion both are related. There's no way to prove or else, right? So, both are very correlated. We'll try and understand how these two work together. And secondly, I think this is maybe my 10th or 12th podcast specific on organic farming, if not more. There are a lot of organic businesses which have come, gone. A lot of people who are using organic as a marketing gimmick. It's become a very sort of marketing word in today's day, right?
Correct.
I feel we need to address what are the realities of organic farming on the ground as well as realities of organic business, right? Of course, your business in US shut down, but you came back to India and you have built a business which I would say is fairly successful and still in its journey of making a greater impact with Bhoomi Farms, right?
Correct.
So, where do we start? So, I think we can start by understanding what organic is. What does organic truly mean? Because, like I said, to me and to multiple people, it's become a marketing word. There's no trust, there's no proof, sort of as a consumer for me to understand why is Shankar sir or XYZ person selling me an organic produce, right? So, I'm just giving as an example. I don't like particularly, but what is organic?
It's an excellent question. See, I think it all starts with the soil. When you're doing organic farming, right, you are depending on the soil fertility to deliver yield results for you, right? So, soil takes time to build. That's the reality. Particularly when soil has been driven to, let's say, 0.3, 0.5% soil organic matter, right? Soil organic matter is something you would like to define maybe first for our audience.
Sure, yes, let's start.
Yeah. Basically, soil organic matter is the percentage of carbon present in the soil. Carbon is like the fuel or the building block for microbial life. So, the more the carbon in the soil, more the microbial life, because that's the basic food for soil life, right? So, organic farming essentially means using materials that are sustainable and non-synthetic to help with building soil fertility, and in that process building healthy plants, not weak plants, and giving produce that is rich in three things. One is a wide array of minerals, okay, that is essential for human being to survive in a healthy way. The person has to have 70 minerals in the right balance in their body, 70 plus. The more than micronutrients, there are trace elements that are needed by the human body. So 70 plus minerals have to be sourced. If you're not eating seafood from the soil, it has to be sourced. The second aspect is the microbiome. Our entire body is run by invisible microorganisms.
True.
So out of sight is out of mind. A lot of people use things to keep their hand microbe free. What do they call it? Purell or what is it?
Sanitizer.
Sanitizers. So you cannot run away from microbes. Your immunity is everything. And this immunity is built by your microbes, your gut. And it has been proven scientifically again and again that the soil microbiome and the gut microbiome are deeply connected. So the food that you eat actually carries all the microbes that are the building blocks of your gut microbiome.
This has been proven.
Proven again and again. So when people visit our farm, We pull the carrot from the soil, just wipe it with cloth and make them eat it. So some soil gets into their stomach and it will cross the acid barrier and go and start colonizing your gut. I made them eat the carrot, and I make them eat the cherry tomato, because on the surface of the cherry tomato that is not washed, there is enough microbes.
People always say wash your vegetables.
No.
Don't wash your
Don't
vegetables.
wash your vegetables. If you are sure that the practices made in that farm is 100% organic, no chemicals have come there, no need to wash the vegetables. In fact, you're losing the microbiome.
Okay.
See, washing vegetables as a hygiene practice is a good thing, right? But if the vegetables are 24 hours old, maybe you want to wash the vegetable. But when you're plucking from the plant I'm talking about, then it's full of life, okay, connected to the mother plant. Inside the fruit, a cherry tomato, there's enough microbes, okay? So they have to enter your system. So what happens in chemical agriculture is the opposite. You can take a soil and add some earthworms, collect some earthworms from somewhere, do a test. In this, you put an organic compost and build the soil. In this, you pour the Jivamrita in one sample, and in the other one, put a NPK fertilizer, put a chemical sprays, all that. After a while, you check the earthworm population in this and this. Grow plants in both soil. You will notice that earthworms have multiplied in the organic soil and earthworms have died in the chemical soil. And the same thing happens to even tinier microbes. So what happens is, if you create the ideal conditions for microbes, they double every 20 minutes.
Every 20 minutes?
Yes.
In the soil?
Yeah. I mean, in the soil, inside the plant also. I mean, the plants are full of microbes. Enough research has been done to know that plants actually eat microbes. It's called rhizophagy, right? So inside the plant, whatever life is there, they are called endophytes. They are living all inside the plant, right? And microbes are living inside the plant. So inside your fruit, inside your vegetable, microbes are there. So that is the second aspect of organic farming. All these microbes have to enter you. You can't stop it. This whole idea of sanitization is laughable for me. The third aspect is, which is really important, is you are talking about flavonoids, you're talking about antioxidants, you're talking about so many complex compounds that are possible in organic vegetables that are not possible in hydroponics or chemical agriculture.
So what if I'm doing chemical agriculture in soil? Still not possible?
Yeah, basically the moment you impact your soil microbiome, the plant health is affected automatically. The plant has to survive, and the moment it survives, it wants to survive, it will produce a lot of natural compounds to fight and survive in the environment. And that's what creates a healthy combination of antioxidants, a lot of complex compounds. So if you take an organic tomato and a chemical tomato, the biggest problem in educating the customer is the tomatoes look the same. So why this is better than that? When you cut it and eat it, you will know. And when you continue to eat it for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, then you will know. And a lot of customers have told me that their children stopped going to doctor for flu, cold, everything after eating Bhoomi vegetables. So this is the proof that their immunity improves. And the immunity improves because, once again, of 3 things.
Microbes?
Good mineral content, lots of microbes entering their body, and enough complex compounds that build your immunity, like antioxidants, flavonoids, different colors, carotenoids. Carrots give you carotenoids. Beetroot have their own compound. Tomatoes have lycopene. Many other compounds. I think I read somewhere, I cannot name the compound, but tomato, highest health, highest quality tomato can contain up to 170 compounds. So those compounds enter and do magic in your body. We already know that the human body is a miracle. People are trying to figure out. Okay, today people don't understand soil beyond 5%. Even that 5% can be calculated only when you know the 100%.
Hmm.
And nobody knows the 100%. So how do they even call I know 5% of the soil? Soil is a miracle. The human body is a miracle. Don't mess with them.
So you're saying, sir, let's say I take 2 tomatoes. One is
Yeah,
grown organically, let's say bio methods. Other one is grown hydroponically or grown in soil. And if I do the testing of lycopene or other minerals and compounds, you're saying 10 out of 10 times my organic produce will have better as compared to
correct.
100%.
Correct. So I want people to go to a website called bionutrient.org.
Hmm.
Enough research has been done about regenerative soil, regenerative farms. What are the methods to improve nutrient density in food? Okay, the reference point here is Dan Kittredge,
Hmm.
bionutrient.org.
Okay.
I have worked with them for last 3-4 years. I have known them, studied their work.
Hmm.
In fact, I even tried to set up a lab in Bangalore for
Nutrient.
nutrient density. We have done enough work in nutrient density to a point where we realize that Indian market is not ready for it.
Not ready for
Not
it.
ready for it. They are ready for organic, I would say.
Hmm.
But for nutrient dense produce, right? See, let's take a look, right? For example, farmers are paid for tonnage. You are squeezing them on price.
Hmm.
I told tomatoes market price today is 7 rupees. Naturally, you will try to make 40 tons. So when I go and talk to a chemical farmer and try to tell him to grow organic, first thing he asks is, sir, I will lose my yield, right? The point is he will lose your yield in chemical farming also. He doesn't know that, that's all. Because soil dies.
Hmm.
When soil dies, it's on support system. Support system of NPK, 19, all kinds of deadly chemicals. Government is giving huge subsidy for urea, DAP, all that. So that's what he will depend on. Over time, that won't work. And the more and more fertilizer you use, more expensive it will become. And yield will start coming down no matter what. So the point I am trying to make is he's telling, hey, I will get 40 tons, 30 ton yield of tomato. Okay. You are squeezing the farmer by giving him 7 rupees. That's the tonnage he will look for.
Hmm.
Okay. So as long as you price the product for per kg, in where is the price for nutrition?
I think, sir, I'm sure you have experience, but as a youngster, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm thinking if we educate the customer, like
Yeah.
it's possible. I don't think it's impossible. I think India is a market which is big enough where there'll be a very small percentage of population who is ready to transition today.
Correct.
Because you and I know today, sir, people are paying much more on hospital bills. People are paying much more on
Correct.
fixing themselves. Right?
Correct.
So if we educate them that maybe by paying 10, 20, 30% extra, we are giving you nutrient dense food. Here is the test.
Correct.
Again, sir, for me, if you tell me here is the test and you prove it to me, I will buy for rest of my life and I will propagate it to the rest of the world.
Correct. So there is a technology right now where you can scan a vegetable and actually tell the nutrient content of it. If you bring the technology to India and implement it as an app in your cell phone, that is also possible. You can scan a vegetable in a supermarket and decide to buy it or not.
What's this technology?
Basically, it's a optical technology where you can actually read the nutrients in it. There is a commercial device called Croptics. You can Google it.
It's accurate?
It's more than accurate. So this will become a reality very soon. It's already becoming a reality in some places in America.
Okay.
Where you can go to a supermarket and you can scan your vegetables. So even today, farmers are not getting paid for nutrient density. There is no such scheme right now. When that scheme comes in, when that becomes a market reality, people will definitely buy nutrient-rich vegetables.
Do you think it will happen in the next 10, 15 years?
I think it should. We better have it because people are dying by eating just calories which are empty calories. I always call them empty calories.
Agreed.
So there is no nutrition in it. It fills your stomach. So that's what food is today.
Very interesting. I think we can do a separate podcast on that topic altogether because I was reading that book also. You suggested Dad to buy me the Dr. Mark Hyman one.
Dr. Mark Hyman.
Yeah. So I was reading. I read about 100 pages. And it makes sense. I follow him also. But yeah, coming back to the topic, so I think in today's market, especially in India's scenario, multiple people are claiming organic. For the consumer and the youngster who's watching this, my age, What is the reality? How many of these people are truly organic? I don't want to get into naming names or pointing fingers, just to present the reality of the market.
Today, the sad thing is trust is not there, right? The consumer doesn't trust the word organic at all.
Exactly.
That's the truth. So, what we need to do is um, do customer education. From a business standpoint, I'm saying customer education and transparency. When you add them both, trust is built. That's from the customer side. So that's from the business side. From a customer side, I believe asking the questions and voting with your rupees or dollars is the key to build sustainable organic production systems. What I mean by that is today, when you go to an app like Blinkit or Swiggy or Zepto, if it says organic, you just click and buy. And again, you're looking at price. Yeah, I understand price is important. But what is that brand that is selling me organic vegetables? Is the first question the customer should ask. Your Zepto is calling something organic. Swiggy is calling something organic. Why?
Is it organic though, according to you?
That's a very controversial discussion. I don't want to get into. But the truth is, there are enough fake organic suppliers in India who will mix regular organic and mandi vegetables. This has been going on for years now. It's very controversial because I don't want to talk about other businesses.
Why do they do that? Tell me that, sir. Like, what's the thought process behind it?
See, the human mind is always after quick money. Whatever sells for 7 rupees in the mandi, you sell it for 20 rupees after packaging it nicely. And you have made 3x on a single day. Which business can do that for you? Right? So honesty comes at a huge price in organic farming. And chemical vegetable available in the mandi suddenly becoming organic with no traceability, nothing, is a reality today. So I advise each and every consumer to ask questions. If you know where it is grown and how it is grown, then you are okay, you are safe. If you don't even know the source, which farmer grew your product, at least find out which farmer grew, his latitude and longitude. Every company has to publish this. Every Zepto, Swiggy, Blinkit, Bhoomi Farms, Akshay Kalpa, nobody excused. Have to publish this. Which farmer grew your food?
And where?
And where? That's enough. The moment this is exposed, everything is exposed.
Yeah, you can visit the farm and
Yes,
find out.
yes. You just need latitude, longitude number.
I think that's going to be a very important segment of this podcast. So we'll come back to that educating the consumer, how to ask the right questions.
And at Bhoomi, we are already doing source traceability, 100% source traceability, and 100% organic certification. So we have our own teams to do that. So because we believe that trust and transparency are very, very important. And for that, to build the awareness for the customer, we have square code in our product packaging where they can scan the square code or the barcode and find out which farmer grew this product. And believe me, it is very costly to implement full source traceability.
I can imagine.
Operation-wise and everything. And we are doing it. We are trying our best to give them as accurate information as possible. So today I can say 30 farmers grow tomatoes for Bhoomi. We know each and every farmer. So customer also needs to know, that's it. And anybody supplying vegetables to Blinkit or Swiggy or Zepto, the customer should ask, who's the farmer? Can I scan the barcode? Can I know the farmer? Just simple name of the farmer, location. At least give me the village. They won't give you. There's the answer. And vote for that company that works for that. That is where you promote real organic farming. Then it is fair competition.
Makes sense, sir. You have, sir, now I would say like Bhoomi Farms, you have done quite a bit. Youngster watching, listening to this, many people I feel will want to get into this space eventually, sooner or later. I keep saying this, but people are wanting to transition away from the IT tech infrastructure, right? I remember you putting in your blog somewhere, I have written it down, Please work on a farm for a few months before you continue in this fantasy world. Dreams are beautiful, reality is something else.
Yes.
In context to organic farming, which sets the tone very beautifully for who should get into this space, who should not, right? Because, like you mentioned, first you have to have that passion for it. You have to get your hands dirty in the soil. So let's start there. Who is organic farming for? Someone watching this podcast, how do they decide, is this for me, is this not for me?
Yeah. So organic farming is for people who are extremely passionate
About what?
about healthy food, about healthy soil, about being in nature. See, the foundation of human beings is three things. One is clean water,
Hmm.
clean air, and clean food.
Hmm.
These three are the foundations.
Hmm.
Today, many people are frustrated because malls are available, consumer products are available, cell phones are available, apps are available,
Hmm.
entertainment is available 24 hours.
True.
But clean air
Hmm.
comes at a huge price. Not a single city has clean air. Clean water, impossible almost. You have to buy it. And even there are so many products that are fake.
Okay.
Clean food, I just told you,
Hmm.
it's fake. Clean food is very hard to find.
Hmm.
So, a youngster who is frustrated that his foundations are falling apart, his health is falling apart, is the first person who should take the action that I'm going to do something to change. He's got a lot of energy,
Hmm.
lot of enthusiasm, very young, full of energy, full life ahead of him.
Hmm.
So maybe he should first see where is the problem.
But sir, I can be passionate about health. Let's take my case, right? I'm
Correct.
someone who's very
Correct.
passionate about health.
Correct.
I've always been, but up till now, I didn't care that much about the soil. But then I met people like you. I've done AgriTalk. So why should I go towards farming? I can just maybe do something else, right? That's the major question which comes in my head sometimes. I have the obvious answers, but a youngster watching this might have the same question. You mentioned three things:
Yeah.
passionate about health, passionate about soil, and another thing I think you mentioned. I'm missing that. But these two
Nature.
nature, passionate about nature. All three have to be together.
Need not be. I'll give example. See, in my own life, many people have approached me.
For
I can count 500 plus people, youngsters to rich persons, land holding, no land holding, just out of college to worked in university, worked in industry, 500 plus in the last 10 years. And I've guided each and every one of them. Some of them I lost touch, some of them are still in touch. And some of them came back to help me join Bhoomi and help me. So I can give examples. If you are passionate about farming or if you're passionate about food, you can do a food startup, right? If you're passionate about food, you can go and help farmers who are struggling to find market for their product. Okay, need not be. One guy who met me, I don't want to name him, but he went ahead and worked at a startup and became vice president of growth there at a farmer first startup, which is very famous in India right now. So this guy was, wrote a long mail to me saying that he's tired of city life and he wants to do farming. And he worked with me for a year or so. And I hope I could have, I groomed him quite a bit. And he is so connected to food right now that he is a champion for farmers. So you can be a champion for farmers. You don't have to be a farmer, right? If you want to be a farmer, it's a very difficult path. The probability of success is probably 10 to 5%. So be
that
prepared
doesn't
for it.
seem that bad, sir. 5 to 10% is good.
It's good.
Not bad. I mean,
Great.
success again, it varies on how you define success.
And I strongly advise keep your financials intact and do the farming on the side as a weekend soil development program.
Organic
And
farming,
yeah, after maybe 5 to 10 years, when your financials are secure, you can do full-time farming. That's another hybrid approach. I strongly recommend hybrid approach because as a human being, you have family demands. You may have children. You may have a wife who's not working. Or as a woman, you may not have a husband who is working. Start as a hobby. See if it fits your lifestyle. Then pursue it. That's how I would recommend.
But what I'm understanding, basically in simple terms, what you're saying, sir, before we get into what to do
Uh-huh.
is that there is no fast money in farming as a business also, as a farmer also. Am I right?
Yes.
There's no fast money. And you're saying take a slightly risk averse approach where you're doing side by side. Like don't go all in because you need a sort of financial income to support you, right?
Correct.
All right, let's say, sir, now I'm
Mm.
doing a job or I am wanting to start in this space and I want to start learning about organic farming. One of the most important thing is there are two kind of people who already have their land, many people who want to purchase land as an investment. In both cases, what are the key things to keep in mind in terms of land for organic farming? Because I've heard multiple people say that there must be no contamination of heavy metals, fertilizers for at least 5, 6, 7 years. Your neighborhood farmer should not be using chemicals.
Correct.
So, how does land selection work out for organic farming?
So the most important things are in this sequence: the soil.
Hmm.
For example, if the soil is very stony and you want to grow root crops, it will be very difficult. When you plow the soil is full of stones.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
Okay, it's very hard. Second is water.
Hmm.
If you have a hard water in your borewell, okay, it's very difficult to grow crops.
Hmm.
And there are some areas where the hardness is so high that crops don't grow well. So you have to test your water. So I have myself built 7 farms. And in each farm, the hardness of the water was different. Right? That is basically dissolved salts
Correct.
in the water. The third thing is climate. For example, I'll give a Palak as an example. See, today in the market, you can get 15 rupees a bunch, or you can say 50 to 60 rupees a kg consistently for high quality Palak. And in 30 days, Palak is ready.
Correct.
And if you do proper crop rotation, you are looking at 6 to 8 tons of yield per crop and 6 crops a year.
For Palak.
Palak. So 6 eights are let's say 8 tons, 6 crops is 48 tons.
Hmm.
At 60 rupees, you can do the math. Is a cash provider.
24 lakhs. No, 48 tons
Yeah. 24 lakhs. That's right. 24 lakhs an acre
per year.
per year. Go for it. It's a reality.
Just from Palak, 24
Yes,
lakhs an acre.
yes.
What's the selling rate we're assuming?
I'm assuming Bhoomi farms can buy from you as a farmer 50 to 60 rupees kg.
But your produce has to be 100%
Organic, of course. I wouldn't be speaking about chemicals
in this podcast.
ever. Out of my mouth, it won't come.
Got it. Got it. So, soil you mentioned, water you mentioned, and climate. Like, in terms of climate, of course, each area would be different in
Correct,
climate, right?
correct.
Based on climate, we decide the crop,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, is there an ideal climate range where I should look for my land?
Correct. For example, we have our farms in Thali. Thali is ideal for vegetables.
Okay.
Vegetables grow throughout the year, 12 months a year. Okay. If you want to succeed in vegetable farming, you go there. Of course, land price will be higher, right? Because vegetables fetch more per kg and more often per kg, right? You can keep on growing, right? So if you're very passionate about vegetable farming, you grow in this area.
The temperature is like what over there?
Temperature is from 15 degrees to 25 degrees.
15 to 25 degrees is ideal range.
Celsius, yeah.
Most
Ideal
of
for
India
vegetables.
does not have this.
Many places in India don't have it. And extreme temperature will be 32 in Thali only for during the 2 months. So that is manageable. But if you go to the second location where we farmed, Bhoomi has multiple farms, our own farms. So this place is called Vandavasi. It's on the way to Chennai from Bangalore, around 100 kilometers from Chennai. And in this place, only 6 months are good season. The other 6 months are divided 3 months extreme hot and other 3 months extreme rain. So in the 6 months, there is no output. You can't do any production. So naturally here land is cheaper. And if you want to enjoy 6 months of life traveling to Himalayas and do 6 months of farming and grow rice, you want to grow peanuts, you want to grow sugarcane and make sugar, you want to raise cows, grow crops for cows to eat. You need to grow the fodder, right? So this is a good place. And mostly youngsters go to their ancestral places where they were born and brought up. Their father has land and they know the entire village. So they are attracted naturally to those areas, right? So it's a combination of so many factors that we need to consider. And I would say if you are smart, don't go 400, 500 kilometers from city.
Stay close to the city.
I think today, given the soil, land price, real estate, and all that, 200 kilometers from city is okay. Beyond that, don't go.
What is the land price like now, sir, across this region?
Today, agricultural land has crossed 1 crore per acre. It's ridiculously high. And let's say you are 20 to 40 kilometers from city, this is the price. If you are 100 kilometers, maybe you can get it for 20 lakhs. And if you're 200 kilometers, you can get it still for 10 to 15 lakhs. It's possible.
Got it. But most of these lands, sir, which people have or which they will buy, they will most likely be which have low soil organic carbon.
Correct.
Or soil which is, let's say, hard, right? In this case, how do I go about next? Like, I'll have to choose a crop to start off with. Or before even choosing a crop, first I have to rebuild my soil.
Correct.
Where do I start?
See, the most important thing is build your soil by growing your solar cells.
Solar cells. Okay, what is that?
When a plant is growing, okay, if you have what I call as carbon sink or sugar sink. Sugar sink, where the sugar goes. First, the sugar is manufactured by the plant. We all know this. So you do photosynthesis and manufacture simple and complex sugars. The plant manufactures all this. The sugars go towards growing the tips of the plant, okay, and growing the root system. Sugars go towards energy for the plant. The plant requires energy. It's a living organism. The sugar goes towards making fruits or vegetables in the plant, on the plant, making flowers and nectar, right? But the sugar also goes into the soil. So the first thing you need to do is grow something.
Even if your soil is bad.
Let's say, yes, you cannot say, I will put some compost on the soil and like a mulch, let the rain and sun do the work. After 1 year, I'll come back.
Achha, it doesn't work like that.
It's a bad idea.
Okay.
So the moment the sugar is pumped into the soil through the plants, those liquids are called as root exudates. There is symbiotic relationship between root exudates and the soil life.
What does that mean?
See, the soil life wants to drink the glucose and all the other nutrients that come from the root of the plant. I just told you the plant is a solar cell. The more plants you grow, the more sugar you produce. The more sugar you produce, the more sugar goes into the soil. The more sugar goes into the soil, the microbes get attracted to the root system and form colonies around your root system. In exchange for the sugar they drink from the plant and the nutrition they take from the plant, they give protection to the root system, a defense mechanism. So that's the symbiotic relationship. So as soon as your soil microbiota and microbiome starts building up, then the soil aggregate structure starts building up. And you can dump a lot of oil in the ocean by mistake. You immediately use fungal organisms to clean up that oil. And the same soil life will clean up all the bad stuff in your soil.
Which crop do I grow, sir? Like, how do I decide which crop?
I strongly recommend a lot of naturally growing crops. For example, in one place, horse gram can grow. You can see every farmer growing it, right? Grow horse gram. If you see every farmer growing ragi, grow ragi.
In that bad soil?
Yes. Do what other farmers do. And don't grow it as crash crop if you can afford it. Meaning you can combine 5 crops minimum. One from legume family, one from grass family, one from cereals family, one from pulses family, and one from, let's say, aromatic family. So you combine all of them. And you can also, grow crops that root themselves very deep. Like I have told you some time ago, it's castor bean. Okay, and this way, what happens is you are building ecosystem below the soil. As I told you, bacteria multiply every 20 minutes.
Hmm.
Magic happens. In 24 hours, you have 2 power 71 bacteria. Please
Wow.
put it in your calculator. One bacteria becomes 2 power 71. Your calculator won't work. You try to enter 2 power 71 in your calculator, it won't work.
Hmm.
So that much bacteria multiplication is possible
In 24 hours.
in 24 hours if you provide the ideal conditions. And that's the magic that's happening all the time. So grow something.
So there's no particular combination. Like, okay, I have 1 acre land.
Yes.
I heard Shankar sir, and he told me that just start with something so that the sugars are secreted back in the
Correct.
soil. So that can include crops like horse gram,
Correct.
ragi, or whatever.
As I
is-
told you, if you want to grow a cash crop, you grow individual crops. If you want to improve the soil health, grow cover crops in the minimum of following combinations. 2 to 3 cereals, 2 to 3 legumes, 2 to 3 pulses, 2 to 3 grasses, 2 to 3 oil seeds. Oil seeds are very important.
Hmm.
They give oil back to the soil. Okay, so the fat content in the soil is very important because that is the core substance required for humification, soil humification.
Hmm.
Right? So fat is important for soil.
Hmm.
So you put a combination of this. So and each root system supports a different soil microbiome.
Got it.
Okay. So how do you create soil biodiversity? Simply by growing different crops in a mix, and they will fight with each other and grow. Some of them will not grow. Learn it. For example, millets will grow in hot weather. Horse gram will grow in colder weather. So if you put millet and horse gram in hot weather, horse gram will die, millet will grow. So you learned it. Next time you don't repeat it. So you design combinations for summer weather and winter weather.
This will vary as per land, as per
Correct.
weather. It's
Right.
not one formula.
Correct. This is something you need to learn.
But the common thing is there must be diversity.
Correct.
Just when rebuilding the soil.
Correct.
Got it.
Second thing you do is composting.
After my crop has been done.
It can be before you grow the cover crop. Okay. So I suggest if your soil is really bad, add 30 to 40 tons of compost per acre.
Before cover crop.
See, there is no exact formula. You should grow cover crop after mixing compost in the soil because even the cover crop may not grow well. And if you use biochar,
Okay.
that's the next subject, it will clean up your water filter as biochar. Right? Everything has charcoal. Charcoal is a filter. Simply apply the same principles. Biochar, you can charge it with microbes and with nutrients.
Let's start. How do we use biochar? Like, what is biochar? How do we use it? When do we use it?
See, biochar is very simple. It is made by burning wood under controlled conditions without any oxygen. It creates a lot of pore spaces. And I would recommend people reading a paper, which I will give you the link. And it's an amazing 10-page article about biochar. I will send you that. So essentially, you are building apartment complexes inside the soil for microbes to happily live
Through biochar.
through biochar.
How?
Essentially, it has so many pore spaces. The microbes find it very good residences. 2-bedroom apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, a loft, just a bathroom. All the pore spaces are there. And different microbes love to colonize the biochar.
Now, say I've used composting, I've done cover cropping, I've used biochar. My soil is healthier. After maybe 6 months, 1 year, sometimes
In
even
6 months itself, you'll start seeing results because the moment you expose soil to rain, all the chemicals will percolate. People have this understanding that chemicals are going to sit there. I think glyphosate has strong effect of staying for 11 years in your soil. But many other chemicals percolate through the soil and they disappear. They will reach the nearest water
source and exit.
source, and then they just go there. And
Got it.
So the soil gets cleaned out as soon as your practice becomes cleaner.
So now soil is healthy. How do I decide which crop to grow in that soil? Like, are there particular combinations which work for particular climatic zones? I'll tell you where I'm coming from. Let's say for traditional farming or conventional farming, it's mentioned that this crop will grow at this altitude, this temperature. Is the same logic applying to organic farming also?
See, I'll give you an example. Um, I have grown crops in Nilgiris,
Hmm.
right? The climate and soil combination is so beautiful. The beetroot, the carrot, the cabbage, the cauliflower, the potato taste different and grow different there,
Because
right?
of the climate.
Because of the climate and soil. It's like magic. I
Hmm.
can't figure out. Those are the secrets nature wants to keep with itself.
Hmm.
I try to grow the same potato here, it will taste different.
Hmm.
So I will prefer a Ooty potato, Ooty carrot, Ooty red cabbage than a plain grown same carrot. They will taste very different. That will be sweeter, right? So if you are selecting a region for growing, and if you are passionate about growing avocado, let's say, or banana, you go to banana growing region. You go to avocado growing region.
Hmm.
You go to orange growing region. You want to grow oranges. Grow there. Go there. Travel enough. Find the place where you want to settle.
Mhm.
Find your community. Most important. You need your neighbors to help you. You can't do farming as a isolated entity. So first travel. Next build your community. Then you buy the land. And I strongly suggest lease land for 5 years.
Don't get into buying.
Yes. Play your games. Learn. Become a master. Then buy land. But there is always this tension that every year land price is going up.
Correct.
So maybe buy land. It's okay.
If you can
Take the risk. If you have money, land will always go up in price. So you can buy.
Let's come to the ground now. So I think we have an idea.
Mhm.
Now is the time this beginner is convinced that organic farming he has to do the right way. But the real work in agriculture happens at the soil, the actual practical work, right? People need to understand what actually they're dealing with here. Like when it comes to soil, there's a lot of technical aspects.
Correct.
I know it's practical, but they should have an understanding overall, right? Like you mentioned about microbes, the way the microbes multiply, within 24 hours, they can multiply
2 power 71.
2 power 71 times, which is countless. Phenomenal, right? It's very hard to understand. I think let's start by understanding soil and microbes and the whole ecosystem. I've done this previously on another podcast, but I would love to get your perspective because I was reading one of the blogs where you mentioned there are 3 aspects to the soil: the chemistry, biology, and the physics. Where do we start, sir?
Yeah, let's start with physics. Physics is where the structure begins. Structure is what we start with. See, when you take soil, right, there are these micro aggregates and there are these macro aggregates. Soil essentially has a lot of ions. And these ions, if they are cations, they repel each other. And if they are anions, they repel each other. But anions and cations attract each other. So these forces are always at play, right? So the physics aspect of it involves how you plow the soil. When you plow the soil in the gentlest possible fashion, most gentle fashion, it is through cover crops. So when cover crops grow, a cover crop, I want to define it again. Cover crop is the opposite of cash crop.
Okay.
It's a crop that you grow to improve your soil.
Not to sell.
Yes. So the physical forces are involved. You must have heard or saw a video where seed is growing produces so much sound. And that sound is concentrated to make you listen to it. So the seed growing in the soil has enormous physical force to penetrate through soil and open the soil. And it grows from inside out. So as the root systems grow, physical forces are at play. And the roots can grow sideways in a fibrous way or downways in taproot fashion. And all that, when the cover crop dies, also dies. When the cover crop dies, the roots are present in the soil. The roots are eaten by the microbes. It's microbial food. And that creates pore space. So effectively, you have used physical force of seed to develop your soil structure.
Got it.
The second is the chemistry. Not all soil will have all the minerals. A lot of people say that this mineral, all minerals will naturally be there. just grow.
Every soil has
Don't do
everything.
soil test. Every soil has everything. Completely wrong. So you can take soil and do what is called as a total mineral test. It's not really the right term for it. There is another technical term for it. It's a total test, meaning you digest the ingredients of the soil 100% and separate it into mineral components. You will notice that it doesn't contain all the minerals. And even if it doesn't, if it contains all the minerals, they are not in balance. Right? So there is enough studies in soil chemistry about soil mineral balance. So if it has less calcium, you're supposed to add calcium year after year. If it has less magnesium, you're supposed to add magnesium year after year.
People keep saying that soil is intelligent, like you also mentioned.
Yeah,
It'll figure out the nutrient.
That is where the confusion is. Generalizing everything. Okay? You cannot do that. So you have to bring mineral balance into the soil. I strongly recommend it.
So this is
Go into soil science.
So within soil chemistry, you're saying there are minerals, then there's NPK, and there are small micronutrients. What are the different components? Can you just classify them once?
You see, you get your hydrogen, your oxygen, your carbon, and your nitrogen mostly from air. Those are the major components, building blocks of plants. But then 5% of the plant is made of minerals. That 5% has to come from the soil. Right? It cannot come from air and water. So that 5% is split into 70 plus minerals.
70 plus.
Yes. And in that, I would say the top ones are calcium, sulfur, magnesium, zinc, iron. Then there is cadmium, like micronutrients and trace elements. Okay, there are so many micronutrients, right? So there are, and then there are these trace nutrients. So we have a big list and we can discuss that. Point is, all these nutrients should be there in sufficient range. And soil tests have been done and there are so many labs that can do that job for you. If you have the scientific bent of mind, it's very important you do it. For me, it's essential to do it. But the reality is many farmers don't do it and still the crop will grow.
Yeah, a lot of people say if you see earthworms in your soil or if you have the microbes or if your soil smells good.
Correct. That's the biology aspect.
Yeah, they say soil test is a scam. It's pointless.
Yeah, that is the wrong opinion. You have to do soil test. Because if you are growing a commercial crop and there is no boron, you finished. Soil needs boron. And there is no boron in the soil. Or boron poisoning could have happened because the previous farmer did some mess with your soil. So magically soil will not correct itself.
Okay.
And you have to go back to science, how soil was built. Through glacial action is how soil was built. Through volcano erupting, soil was built. So naturally, different soils have different mineral composition. So you have to take care of that.
So let's talk about this. I think this is very, very important. Previously, we've mentioned about soil testing in many podcasts. But let's say as a youngster, I go with my soil to the lab. What are the things that I must get tested? You're saying beyond NPK, soil organic carbon, there are multiple different levels, right? What to get tested and where should I get this tested?
Yeah, for example, there is a Melich test. Melich 3.
Okay, what is that?
It's like a weak acid extraction test where you can extract all the minerals in your soil and you can find out what is called as cation exchange capacity, and you can find out the soil organic matter, and you can find out various mineral compositions and their base saturation rate. Instead of going very technical, I just want to mention that this is a basic test you need to do. It's a Melich 3 test.
Melich 3 test.
Okay. And that's a chemistry test. Okay. And the biology test is mostly done using kits. Okay, there are kits to find out how the biology is in the soil, what kind of organisms live. You can do microscopy. Microscopy is very popular. You can take a sample of the soil, put some water in it, and then look into it with the microscope to see what is the soil life. For physics, basically the aggregate structure, it comes through experience. So what is an aggregate, right? I mean, physics aspect of it. See, the micro and the macro aggregate is what I want to explain here. The microaggregate essentially contains clay, sand, silt, organic matter,
Hmm.
and you've got various types of bacteria. And these various types of bacteria
Hmm. Hmm.
secrete a liquid from their bodies.
Hmm.
This is essentially the glue. People think that water holds the soil together. In fact, water erodes the soil. It's the opposite. So, water is not what holds the soil, but the glue that is secreted by the soil microbes
Okay.
that is holding the soil together in the form of aggregates. Right? This glue starts to die after a few weeks. As long as soil has life, the glue is alive.
What is this glue?
One example is glomalin. There are many glues.
Hmm.
As complex as soil, there are enough glues. Glue is simply what holds sand, silt, clay, soil microbes, and soil organic matter together.
The soil physics.
Soil physics.
Hmm.
Okay. And this glue is secreted only by the soil life. If you take an earthworm, right, it is not like silk or anything. It's gooey. It has got some sticky liquid on its body.
Hmm.
Same. You can imagine that at a micro level.
Got it. Which
Okay.
keeps the soil together.
Yes. Then there is the macro aggregate. Macro aggregate is a combination of multiple micro aggregates. So, if there is a fungal network in the soil, these fungal mycelium,
Hmm.
okay, keep the micro aggregates into a form of a macro aggregate.
Got it.
So, if there is fungal life in the soil, which is very important in soil and particularly soil that has low tillage, okay, so the macro aggregates start forming. And when the aggregates start forming, naturally, when you put a bunch of different size rocks in a bottle, glass bottle, you'll see a lot of pore space, right?
Hmm.
Same way, when the aggregates start forming, there is enough air space. So that increases oxygen penetration into the soil.
That is
And
important.
oxygen
Why?
is the basis of life
That helps the microbes thrive.
to grow. And there is water percolation better in the soil. Let's take an example of suddenly you have 10 centimeter rain.
Hmm.
What will happen is first the soil will saturate. If the soil did not have good aggregate structure, then most of the water will try to run off because it saturates the moment you have 1 centimeter of water. The other 9 centimeter will not stay in the soil. Okay? So, first is it will erode the soil, wash off the topsoil. All the hard work you have done as a farmer sits in the top 6 inches. Right? You better protect it. I just told soil is like jasmine flower. Right? You better protect it. How do you protect it? With mulching. But mulching can only do so much. If you don't have good structure, the water will not go down. It will sit in the soil. If your ploughing practice is wrong, I told you, if you use a rotavator, it is going to cement the soil and create hard pan. Then water will not percolate.
That
So
lead to
water
soil
will
erosion.
naturally wash off.
Over time, your soil will
And if the
degrade.
land has slope, soil also will wash off.
How can I develop this, sir?
This is where the technique of deep organic farming comes.
What is deep organic farming, sir?
See, it's a soil first approach where plants are just byproducts and soil is the main product. Because it's like this, right? For a business, what do you need? Capital. For organic farming, capital is soil.
Hmm.
And people don't treat capital well, those businesses die. So in organic farming, those who don't treat soil well, their organic farming business dies. So you have to invest in the soil. So for example, a person is willing to invest 1 lakh in high quality compost per acre. Another person is only willing to invest 10,000 in high quality compost per acre per year. The person who invests 1 lakh wins.
But the whole idea of organic farming is that not to be dependent on input driven farming, right, sir?
But compost is something you make. You don't buy. You make it. We can go into compost making, which is basically the essence of organic farming.
We'll do that, sir. But
Yeah.
I think before that also, which the deep organic farming, I want to touch base on that. You mentioned there are certain rules in deep organic farming that you must always follow, right?
Yeah.
Can you take a youngster through what these rules are?
Okay, let's get started with the rules. First is make compost. If you are not making compost, you are not an organic farmer. Okay. Second is grow cover crops. You have to give rest for the soil. You should not do extractive farming. A lot of people are so concerned about yield, particularly farmers are crying about yield. What's the big deal here? You've got a land. Land is basically your asset. Okay? And it's proven that if you maintain that asset and improve that asset, okay, year after year, yield has to go up. There is no other choice. The soil will become extremely resilient to disease, even to climate. When there is heavy rain coming because of climate change, okay, the root systems will have gone deeper and the soil has become more porous and more water will percolate and flooding and rotting of roots will not happen. That is resilience right there. When heavy sun is hitting the soil, because your soil is deep, because you did a good job with the soil, the root systems will get water from deeper levels and will not dry off very fast. That is resilience right there. Right? And you did a mixed permaculture and a regular vegetable culture. Then these trees will protect the plants growing in between the tree rows. Right? You have thought through all those things. So that is where you should invest and look at soil and the ecosystem as your main product. And whatever you harvest is like a byproduct. Don't try to get it in 3 months. And a lot of people I meet come and ask me, I want to be economically viable. Nobody comes and tells me I want to build soil. I want to build ecosystem.
But so ultimately we have to make
No,
money.
I understand, right? I also run a business. I understand that. But you need to have patience.
But it's slow.
Yes.
So day one you should not think that.
Yeah, day one nothing is possible. This is not the AI
Cloud chat.
cloud chat.
Fair enough. So first thing you mentioned is mulching. Second thing is compost. After that?
The third thing is I said cover crops. Fourth thing is minimum tillage and shallow tillage. I recommend tilling the soil up to 1.5 feet only once in its lifetime. After that, maintain the shallow tillage of 2 inches. Maximum 3 inches. That's it.
Right now, how much do people do?
People do 6 inches, 9 inches. Keep on plowing the soil. It won't work. See what happens, I'll tell you this. You want to increase the soil organic matter, right? So the moment you plow the soil, rapid oxygen introduction happens into the soil. What does oxygen do? It combines with carbon. It will become carbon dioxide and disappear. So you can see the NASA satellite image above United States of America. During the months of June, May, April onwards, the amount of carbon dioxide in the air will get more and more and more because people are plowing their farmlands. So where is that carbon coming from? It's coming from soil. That's the soil organic matter.
Which is getting
escaping from your soil. So you're really stupid.
Again, this
because you keep on adding compost and then you can plowing and throwing it away. Like, you're supposed to accumulate your carbon. You're losing the carbon. So any intelligent farmer should naturally find a way to preserve the carbon. Right? Carbon is the magic element there.
True.
It is the center for everything in the soil. So you need to keep that carbon. What do? You bring big plowing equipment and plow it away.
What exactly happens? Like you told about the soil physics and structure. Let's say I'm getting a big tractor and rolling it on my farm.
Correct.
How am I damaging the physics of
I explained the soil structure, which is the microaggregate and
macroaggregate. Yes.
All the fungal networks will get destroyed. So, Abhinav, I'll give you human experience, okay? You build an entire apartment. You sell it to everybody. And everybody has bought their houses. There are, let's say, 200 apartments. Every day, you send 200 people into that apartment and break some walls and come out. And you make the owner repair the walls daily. This is what you're doing to soil.
With plowing.
These networks, these fungal networks are beautiful, self-sustaining networks. These bacterial ecosystems are beautiful crop protection mechanisms. What do? You take a big blade and rip through it and rapidly introduce oxygen. You destroy the homes of soil life. And then you expect the crops to perform. It won't happen.
Because the oxygen is combining with carbon.
And basically, carbon is the basic building block of soil microbial life. And you remove the carbon, you have to add it back. You have no other choice. Correct?
True.
Why you want to do that? It's fundamentally stupid. And every farmer is plowing the soil. Why?
Makes sense.
At least plow once a year. Don't keep on plowing.
How often do farmers do it now?
Every 3 months.
Understood. So let's
And
talk about
they do very powerful ploughing.
big machines.
Very big, very tough on soil, very rough on soil. They don't check the moisture level. They don't check a lot of things. What they do is they plow the soil and bring out hard rock-like chunks. And then they use the rotavator at high speed and break it into powder. You pulverize the soil. That soil, when exposed to weather and wind, it'll blow away. It's gone. You're losing your topsoil. When rain comes, it'll wash away. Topsoil is the most expensive part of your farm. Every year I notice in Nilgiris, there is a Bhavani river. Whenever it rains in Nilgiris, the Bhavani river is red in color. All the topsoil of Nilgiris is running in the plains. Same thing happens in Mississippi,
Everywhere in the world.
everywhere in the world. Topsoil is the most expensive component we are losing year after year.
What will happen, sir, if this keeps happening?
Essentially, long time ago I heard only 60 years left for farming. There's probably only 30 years left now.
Then after that?
Farming will be difficult. Food will become more and more expensive. It'll be harder to grow and people will switch to hydroponic systems or growing it in space or whatever. Growing it in artificial conditions, and artificial conditions are always expensive. Nature is meant to grow your food. As long as you play along with nature, don't mess with nature. You don't understand it. You think you are brilliant. You know everything. And you do all the stupid things. That is where I am coming. You should protect your soil, plant trees, protect your rivers, protect the ecosystem. Then you get the rewards. Population is going through the roof. Instead of thinking about growing artificial food, like artificial meat and all that, try to build the soil.
You mentioned, sir, online I was reading, soil organic carbon, everyone knows is the heart of the soil, right?
Yes.
I've heard people say it should be at least 1%. It should be 0.8 to 1% minimum. We know that today it's 0.3 to 0.5. But you mentioned it should be at least 3 to 5%.
Correct.
Nobody has ever quoted such a high number. That almost seems impossible in today's date. So how do we reach that level?
First, I want to refer to Dr. Ratan Lal. He has quoted that close to 3% is very, very critical for the soil. He has published papers and research reports to prove it. So, living soil ecosystem that can protect that can provide enough for plant life to grow healthy and give healthy food to human beings is possible only when you have 3 to 5%. And as I told you, ploughing it less, growing cover crop, mulching, adding organic matter whenever possible, and whatever solar cells you're growing, whether it is cash crop or cover crop, composting all of it and bringing it back to soil is a net accumulative process. Let us please understand this. Every year, you are growing green stuff. This green stuff is producing sugars.
Sugars for the soil.
Sugar's main ingredient is carbon. It's all hydrocarbons, carbon compounds. All of them, as I told you, let's say in a sweet corn, 10% of the plant is sold. Remaining 90%, you can give it to your cow, which produces cow dung and urine. Bring it back to the soil, right? Or simply compost that corn stalk. Okay? In a cauliflower, okay, most of the plant is sold. But you have a good chunk of central stem and a lot of leaves that you can actually
put back
in the soil. Every cash crop comes with a blessing. Use that blessing. Okay, there are other parts of the cash crop that is actually living biology, living carbon compounds, right? So that you put back in the soil to improve life of the soil. That is the main recommendation. In year after year, it has to accumulate.
What
you can do is, I want to mention ramial wood chips. So what I mean by that is, you can go get permission from your municipality to trim trees along the roadside. These trees have very deep root systems. They go to mineral profile of the soil profile, which is so deep that they'll go 20 feet, 40 feet into the soil and collect all the minerals and store it in their leaves and fresh stems. Okay. You get free minerals, free carbon, and free nitrogen from that trimmings of the trees. So send your tractor with your team, collect all the tree trimmings. That is exactly what we do in our Vandavasi compost facility. We collect tractor loads of these tree trimmings.
Trimmings, you basically mean the branch or the leaves or
The edge branches which won't affect the tree.
Okay.
These are the growth that you take like 3% of the tree. 3% will grow in few days. So you collect and grind it into wood chips.
Got it.
And mulch the soil and add it to your compost pile. You have brought a lot of carbon into the soil.
What is the soil organic carbon you've been able to achieve from at Bhoomi Farms? What was it before? What is it now?
1.7 to 2.5.
Average or maximum this is?
This is the range.
Wow. 1.7 to 2.5 everywhere across your farms?
Almost everywhere.
What was it before, sir, when you started?
The 0.5.
And how many years did this take?
I think it's been from 2018.
7 years constantly. You've almost increased it 5 times.
But I have to be honest here. We were crop oriented and cash oriented and not soil oriented.
In the
Because
start.
we had in all these years, we were doing intensive farming. I could have given more rest to the soil and less. If I have 100 acres, okay, I will give rest for 50 acres all the time. If I have only 20 acres, I will probably give rest for 2 to 3 acres only. The remaining acres are active growing crops. It's a cycle, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. And when real estate is expensive, people try to grow more crops because it's a lot of money that has gone into buying the land. So these are all inclinations that farmers should avoid. Those are the lessons I have learned.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to get into the business. I was talking to sir and you mentioned that, it's been so long. I have had to focus more on the business side because of course economy is everything. We'll get to that. But before we get into that, I want to go back to the professor and the science in you because one topic we discussed, we'll go into depth, is the composting, right? There is a lot about composting and multiple people talk about different inputs. Some people say Jeevamrutam.
Correct.
Some people talk about biofertilizers. You mentioned biochar, right? The word compost, what does it mean? What is the right way to do composting? Where should one start?
See, composting starts on farm. As a business at Bhoomi, we decided to do commercial manufacturing of compost.
Right? Yourself?
Yeah, ourselves. We have a compost manufacturing operation going on from 2019. So, the commercial manufacturing of compost costs us 5 to 6 rupees per kg. The cow dung costs you anywhere from 1.5 to 3 rupees kg. Compost is better than cow dung mainly because, as I told you, it contains wood chips which go deep into mineral profile. And when you use only cow dung, the thing you need to worry about is what the cow ate and where you bought your cow dung from. These days, it's very hard to get cow dung that is high quality. And cow dung, as I told you, is contaminated with plastics.
Because the cow is eating plastic.
Not really that.
Then?
But in the villages, there are pits dug where they throw the cow dung. In that, they also throw the toothpaste. They also throw the medical waste. They throw all kinds of plastic. They buy snacks. So when you dig out that cow dung, it contains plastic. That's a reality. So essentially, when you want to make compost, it's a lot of dry material. Okay, you layer it. You need something like a grinder. You can collect all the tree trimmings. You can collect all your vegetable waste. You can take all your dried things that are growing on the soil.
Dry leaves.
Everything that is dried up in the farm. Grind it using a simple chipping machine. Okay, and create a 4 to 6 inch layer of that
on top of the soil.
On top of a soil,
as
which
beds?
Is in a shade location and can be protected from rain without fail. And on top of this 4 to 6 inch layer, add a 2 inch layer of cow dung. Fresh cow dung. Don't wait. If the longer you wait, the more you lose the nitrogen, all the good things in cow dung. Don't wait.
Okay.
Layer 2 inch. Then make lasagna.
Lasagna.
Do 4 to 6 inch of dry material again. Then 2 inch of cow dung again. In this whole process, after 4 to 6 inch plus 2 inch, add soil from the farm or from the forest. Add some biochar. Add some jivamrit. Add some minerals. You can add minerals.
How?
You can buy high quality minerals.
Synthetic.
It's nothing synthetic here. It is basically mined minerals. So you certified organic method includes getting you can go to a quarry and get rock powder full of minerals. Granite quarry, right? You can get rock powder. Volcanic ash you can buy. You can use that. Add those minerals. Enrich your compost with calcium already in it. Add azomite is a very good product that is available. A to Z of minerals. It's a very commonly used product in agriculture.
Azomite.
Azomite.
These are all minerals.
Minerals. You add sprinkle some azomite on your compost. So you got a 4 to 6 layer of dry material, 2 inch layer of compost, cow dung, and add the soil from forest that you have collected.
This
Enough
I'm doing
biodiversity from everywhere. Take some jivamrita and pour it on it. Take some, what do you call it? The curd that is aged. Pour it on it. Buy bioproducts from very, very good companies which are certified organic. Buy biology. Add to that. You can add in the tail end of the compost, not in the beginning. So let the compost layer up to 6 feet.
This is on the farm itself or?
Farm itself.
Where I'm going to do the farming?
Yes.
My God. Okay. And the full farm or bed wise?
The compost pile is 10 feet long, 6 feet wide and 6 feet high.
Okay.
And cover it with coconut fronds, cover it with palm leaves, cover it with banana leaves roughly to protect it from rain. Preferably under a tree to protect it from sun or some shade net you can set up. Right? So this is one compost pile. Okay. So if you start with 3 tons, it will shrink to 1 ton.
In how much time?
It can even shrink to 1.5 ton. It will take 60 days. And you have to turn it 5 to 6 times.
Turn it as in?
Turn it means if the compost is physically located in one area, just shift it to the next location.
Why?
By shoveling it.
Okay.
So essentially, there are 4 aspects that are very important for compost. One is aeration. The microbial life will be healthy only if there is sufficient oxygen introduction. Second is moisture level. The compost should have 60% moisture in it, meaning water. Okay, so you take the compost, unfinished compost, you take that and squeeze very hard. 1 to 2 drops of water should come out. Then the compost is in the right condition. So compost takes a lot of water. Okay, that's the second aspect. Third aspect is enough fibrous material. If it is like uniform material, it will compact and start smelling. If it has to be diverse materials, so that there is natural aeration, right? And the most important thing is carbon-nitrogen ratio. See, if the carbon-nitrogen ratio is higher than 25 to 1, immobilization of minerals will happen. If the carbon-nitrogen ratio is lower than 25 to 1, then mineralization will happen. I will explain that separately. But you should maintain carbon-nitrogen ratio around 25 to 1. So that when you add this compost to the soil, mineralization happens, not immobilization.
Got it. 25 is to 1. 25 carbon is to 1.
20 to 1 is also okay.
And in the compost, sir, like you mentioned, different things have to be added. There has to be a proper balance. How do I identify which is what? For example, we know that dry leaves contain more carbon, green leaves contain more nitrogen.
Correct.
Right? Like this, are there other such references which we can use?
If you just chat GPT or Claude or Google it, carbon-nitrogen ratio of various materials are already available. You can take that as reference and start experimenting. Not everything can be translated from ChatGPT to reality. You have to try.
Okay.
And robots will not do it for you. We have to do it. So do this compost. And it is magical. From cow dung smelling, it will become forest soil smelling.
How do I use that once it's ready? Do I put it on the full field or only on beds?
This compost has to be not exposed to sun too much.
Okay.
So in the top 2 to 3 inches, mix it in and mulch it if possible.
So
And immediately water it. Don't allow it to dry in the sun. Bad idea.
So I put it on the soil, then I mulch it again.
Yes.
You're saying?
Yes. And this compost you can store for 6 months in bags. You can use a screener to remove the uncomposted materials and add it back to the next compost pile. The most important thing about making compost is adding the previously made compost around 5% to this compost. Basically, 5% of the ingredients of this compost should be from a previous compost pile.
Why?
Because that is called inoculation. See, the concept of inoculation is very simple. If there is a very biology-rich medium, when you add it to food source, the biology-rich medium will multiply at rapid rate
The
and
same
ensure
logic,
the
like-
decomposition of the compost faster.
Got it. Understood. But very important thing you mentioned is that you should not expose this to the sun.
Correct.
So like using a shade net or net house.
See, as I told you, soil is again a jasmine flower. Don't expose it. Protect it. It should have skin on it. Jasmine flower has banana leaf. You have clothing on you. You are not naked. Soil should not be naked.
Always have mulching.
Yes. In fact, the sun and the soil and rain are the enemies of the soil. When the sun is too much, soil cannot take it. When the sun is gentle, you should expose the soil.
Okay.
Right? And when there is too much rain, the soil cannot take it. So you should do enough trenching and bunding systems in every farm so that the soil doesn't get flooded.
Wow. I think there's so much depth in understanding the soil. Because I remember we mentioned in the podcast as well, off camera also, you always tell that getting into organic farming or even Bhoomi farms is not a 3 or 5 year journey. It's a 20-year journey.
Correct.
2 decades, 3 decades it's going to take to be able to build a sustainable business, right? Now I want to sort of understand the business side of things. Because ultimately, where there's economy, only people will survive. मतलब जब तक पैसा नहीं मिलेगा पॉकेट में खेती क्यों करना, business क्यों करना, right? That's the major fundamental. Apart from understanding soil or reviving soil, why do you say this is a 20-year journey? I mean, why not maybe 5 years or why not 10 years? Let's say I fix my soil in 2 months, 6 months, then I replicate it across 10 acres, 15 acres, 20 acres. Why can't I become successful faster?
Correct. So I want to mention my favorite person in this podcast if I'm allowed to.
Please, please.
So recently I had a call with Sashi sir. He was in Shadnagar where they have their model farm. And he was saying, this is our 6th year in Shadnagar, Shankar. And I asked him, how many farms are there? He told 20 buffalo farms and 40 cow farms. It takes 6 years to build 60 farms in their network. And he only taught me also that you need to be extremely patient. And the gestation period for farming-based business is centuries, is decades, not years. You have to count 1 decade as 1 year. So the reason is very simple. The crop cycle is 3 months. To build trust with farmer is 3 years. And farmers are the foundation of your business. And if you build trust, they will work with you. If you don't build, right now there is no trust in farmers.
Why is that?
It's because we have, if I may use some profanity, we have screwed them. We have literally not taken care of them. Well, food is abundant right now. So we don't think about farmers. Farmers are struggling. Farmers are suffering. Farmers want help.
Okay.
And every time they make a product, we make sure they don't make a profit. Today, they are selling, right now as I speak, they are selling 7 rupees per kg tomato in Mandi. Guy who got 30 ton yield survives. Guy who got 15 ton lost the money.
Which is why they go after tonnage.
It is such a... And they squeeze the soil. See, our commercial mindset when it comes to food is what is killing our soil. So we should rebuild the trust and tell them how to build the soil. In fact, they know how to build the soil. Just they don't have the support system.
They don't have the money also.
They don't have money, they don't have support system, they don't have fair pricing. See, money also they will borrow and do. They're very good at it. They are good entrepreneurs. But, we don't give them fair price. We don't give them support when the crops are suffering. As an agronomist, you may know how to protect a crop from a disease. They may not know that scientific aspect. So what we need to build is support system, not the growing. Growing, they know how to do.
Okay. Talk to me about your journey, sir. Like you started Bhoomi maybe how many years back?
2021.
Okay, not that long back, sir. 5 years.
This is the 6th year.
6th year, you seem to be doing fairly well from the outside. Can you explain your business model? Now I'm trying to understand this because you said that it's a 20-year journey, working with farmers, this trust building, all those things have to be taken into mind. What is the path you have taken? What is your business model and structuring with farmers like?
See, initially I thought I will grow everything myself.
As a farmer?
Yeah. It was the worst idea ever.
Why?
Because it won't scale. Maximum I can grow is 200 acres. Okay, maybe another 1,000 acres. But Bhoomi is aiming to work with 10,000 farmers on maybe 40,000 acres.
Okay. What's the model like? How does it work?
The model is very simple. Basically, you have what is called as a farming cluster.
Okay.
Bhoomi's foundation today is 15 farming clusters distributed across Tamil Nadu, Telangana and Karnataka. And we have trained our field officers for a year or more than a year. And we deployed them in different locations where there are farmers willing to do organic farming.
How do you define a cluster? It's how big is a cluster?
A cluster can be anywhere from 20 farmers to 100 farmers.
And you have 15 of these?
I have 15 of these clusters.
Understood. And these are all organic farmers?
Correct. And we even certify them as organic using internal control system. We have our own organic certification team.
So basically these farmers are growing produce for you?
Correct.
You buy their produce at a certain promised price and you sell that forward in the market through your Bhoomi brand.
Correct. It's much more than that. We supply them seed and seedlings.
Okay.
Starts with that. We give them a production plan. We do the soil testing.
For them.
We do the water testing. We do the product leaf sample testing. We do the product sample testing, residue testing. We also give them organic inputs, as in side dressings, fertilizers that we make, organic fertilizers. And we also give them close to 20 plus organic sprays, organic certified liquids. We buy from 25 plus companies across India. In fact, we even supply them lures to trap fruit flies. Okay, nothing to do with the spraying or anything. Just lure, because fruit flies are a big menace. We supply them with all kinds of help. We have a trained agronomist, 6 years of education plus multiple years of training at Bhoomi farms, visiting them at least 2 times a week.
Okay.
Checking the crop. We manage the crop. They grow the crop, they harvest the crop, they manage the labor. We manage the disease, pest and nutrition for the crop. And we closely work with the farmer. We learn from the farmer, they learn from us. And we fix the price on day one.
That this is your produce throughout the year or throughout the crop season?
It's not throughout the year. It depends on the season. In a season where the yield is very high, we will reduce the price by few rupees. In a season where the yield will be not very high, we increase the price by few rupees. But we have calculated for each and every crop what is the production cost. There are 3 aspects. One is the machinery to build the soil, to set up the soil and all that. Second is the labor, which is how much labor it will cost to grow the crop and harvest the crop. Third is the bio inputs. So we have found that bio inputs is 8 to 15% of the cost of the crop. And Bhoomi supplies that 100%. That is the Bhoomi risk. The rest is the farmer risk.
So you ensure that whatever cost of production is there, a farmer gets a certain profit.
50%, at least more than that,
Got
to
it.
cover his risk. Today, for some crops, farmers are making 122%
Profit.
profit from the crop. In fact, they need to make profit because the next crop may be a failure. So that profit will cover them to continue farming into the third and fourth crop. And they would be interested in doing difficult crops if they make good profits with the easy crop.
All of this sounds great, sir. Talk to me about the real struggle or the challenges of building an organic farming business in India. Because the way you put it, it sounds like you've built a system that really works and is potentially scalable because you have the know-how, you have the knowledge of rebuilding the soil, and you have the farmer support at some level, right? So where are the challenges? Where are the pitfalls that maybe I'm not hearing?
Nobody is ready to fund this type of business.
Money is the problem.
Money is a big problem. This, as I told you, the gestation period of this is very long. And till that time, the company will burn money. And when we burn money, somebody has to support us. And only good people with good hearts are willing to support. And I got lucky, I would say, for Bhoomi, that I have my own friend, 30 years, my close friend, who happens to be a very successful serial entrepreneur. He is able to fund Bhoomi. Not everybody gets this. When the investors start putting pressure, in 3 to 5 years, you have to produce results. And agribusiness don't work like that. So I would give minimum 10 years to become profitable in this business. Nobody wants to get into that game. So that's why they do all the shortcuts. Yours is ozone washed. Yours is washed with the... I recently read some brand. They said that your vegetables are washed of pesticides. So I want to mention this. Pesticides are systemic, meaning they're inside the crop, inside the vegetable, inside the fruit. How do you wash it? It doesn't make any sense how they are fooling the customers.
Pesticides go inside the crop?
Of course, they are mainly inside the crop.
Fertilizers go, right?
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Nitrates go inside the crop, but pesticide also has to go inside the crop. See, I grow, let's say, this avarekai. Avarekai is like a pod inside a bin.
Correct.
Okay. If you open a Bhoomi avarekai, out of 10 avarekai, one will have a live insect in the pod. So they grow. They have invented this insecticide. When you spray it, it will go penetrate the pod and kill the insect inside the pod. Pod, you know the pod, right?
Specifically for this.
But they all penetrate now. Everything is systemic. They go attack the nervous system of the insects now. They no longer attack digestive systems. So that's why people have all kinds of nervous system illnesses, right? It's deadly stuff, man.
Is this something people are not understanding?
Yes. It's deadly. It's dangerous. You are playing with fire here.
I think I'll want to get into this. This is the part I'm most curious about. I'll ask a lot of questions, but can we just understand the business part? Like whatever you're comfortable sharing, sir, what kind of numbers are you able to achieve? And what kind of, you say there's a lot of burn, what you undergo today? Again, whatever you're comfortable sharing, this is just for me to give an understanding to the audience in terms of this is what is possible, in terms of achievements,
Correct.
And this is what the struggles are. This is where we are forecasting ourselves.
See, if you don't make any mistakes, I believe in 5 years, you can be profitable in this Bhoomi type of business. But not making any mistakes is a pipe dream. Not possible. Businesses are built out of mistakes.
You've made tons of mistakes.
I've made enough mistakes that I have a great investor who forgive me all the time. But good news is, after all those mistakes, now I know what are mistakes and how to avoid them. This year, I think, will be profitable.
So now, after 5-6 years, you will be profitable.
Yes. After so many mistakes.
Okay.
I want to share here one important thing. If I had not met Sashi, CEO of Akshay Kalpa, in 2023 March, I would not be where I am.
Okay.
Because we pivoted after meeting him. He told Shankar, don't grow vegetables. Make farmers grow. Help them. In that one line, the history of the future of Bhoomi changed 100%.
Let's talk about that. But I would love for you to maybe summarize in as quickly as possible some of these mistakes you're talking about. I think if more and more youngsters are able to replicate
Correct.
your 10-year journey in maybe 5 years, you'd be happy too.
Correct.
So what are those mistakes, sir?
See, don't put too much capital. Conserve your cash. Okay? And hire small teams and do a lot of experiments. For example, I did 100 acres of farming without being successful in 5 acres. I would suggest youngsters to be successful financially. Balance sheet, EBITDA, in 5 acres before you scale to 100 acres. And 100 acres I grew on my own. I invested crores building farms only to shut them down later. I invested greenhouse after greenhouse.
You're going for high technology.
High tech. And at some point we were actually talking about a budget of 65 lakhs per greenhouse per acre and 200 acres. So that's 130 crores. Nobody is willing to give that. We are talking to more expensive greenhouses from Canada and from United Kingdom, imported to India, and grow vegetables without deeply thinking about the unit economics and the reality of vegetables.
That doesn't work for organic?
It's not about not working for organic. It works for some vegetable or fruit that fetches the highest price. Pomegranates, you can have some rain protection systems. Strawberries, blueberries, flowers, roses, all that. They will fetch good money for the greenhouse investment. But if you want to grow tomato in a greenhouse in India, you are dead. Maybe cherry tomato will work. So you have to work the unit economics of the vegetable first. Then try to grow. Capsicum works in greenhouses.
I want to ask you about that. So I've always had this question, I always used to keep asking my colleagues, my father, is there anyone in India who's doing organic, 100% organic inside greenhouse or using net houses? And your name, of course, came up a few times. But you obviously mentioned that that model didn't work out in terms of economics. Is it possible to do 100% organic within a net house, within a poly house? What are the advantages? Disadvantage, of course, the capital investment is very high. So bringing back the ROI. But how does that work out? Can you just give maybe a summary of your experiences?
You can grow organic herbs in greenhouses. No, you can grow lettuce in greenhouses. You can grow cherry tomatoes. You can grow big brinjal. Beautiful yield.
How does that compare to open field with the same healthy soil metrics is what I'm trying to understand.
See, the open field has its own advantages. I strongly recommend for 3 months a year, expose the soil to sun and rain. Because if your irrigation water contains salts, the salts deposit in your soil, the topsoil. Without rain washing it, it's almost impossible to clean it out. So salt accumulation in the topsoil is a reality in a farm that built a greenhouse where the water is high TDS. So you really have to worry about that. And you will never know in the beginning. So that's why I keep telling, test this water. Right? So that is one example I want to give. Greenhouses are excellent when your water has 0 TDS. So you don't need that much of rainwater to wash it. But no matter what, rainwater has some magic that it can do to soil. So I suggest doing greenhouses where roof can be opened and closed. That makes it more expensive, right? So there's no end for this. So shade nets are also an excellent way to grow a lot of crops.
Why? So what's the benefit you get?
Because beyond a certain leaf temperature, I'm talking leaf temperature, not air temperature, the photosynthesis stops. In a shade net, you can reduce the amount of heat that the plant receives from the sun, amount of radiation. And leaf temperature can be managed within a certain range. So the leaf is doing photosynthesis till a certain temperature. After that, it starts doing photorespiration. The moment the plant is doing respiration, it's eating itself. Right? You want to avoid that. Right? So shade nets are excellent for that purpose. So capsicum, lot of greens, lettuce, they all grow beautifully. Green beans. We have grown every crop known in shade net. Even gourds I have grown in shade net really well.
Got it.
Yeah. But that is because the effects of the sun can be very harsh sometimes.
That's a good model, right?
Yeah, that's a good model. But the problem is,
where's the catch?
Your soil is very high clay. It keeps retaining the water. The water will not evaporate at all. That leads to algal growth. That leads to new generation of diseases. And
Why will water not evaporate? Because
because the sunlight is not enough to.
that also has to be retractable.
Yes. So there are always challenges in greenhouse growing, but people try to grow using greenhouses. I recommend shade nets and greenhouses for a crop that produces the kind of money you expect, right? And if you're growing palak and it rains, it's gone, man. One heavy rain, the palak is finished.
And with
It's a very delicate crop. So all those crops with delicate leaves like lettuce, palak, coriander, mint, many greens. You want to grow continuous production throughout the year, I recommend structures.
I think one topic before I move into the last segment, which is customer education, I just want to touch base with you,
Yeah,
is around marketing of organic produce, right? There are two reasons I asked this. Number one, of course, I've seen your marketing, your branding. It comes across really nicely. You have your supplying directly to customers. On the other hand, today, let's say we were talking about crops that can be grown inside a greenhouse, right? We talk about something like a colored capsicum. You and I are insiders to the industry. You're a farmer. I have seen the crop. And I can promise you that it's one of the most infected crops, right? In terms of diseases, one of
Correct.
the most highly sprayed crops.
correct.
But I can walk into most stores today and I can still see organic colored capsicums, right? Two questions I'm clubbing together. How to crack the marketing of organic produce? And as a consumer, when I go to market and I see organic, what is true, what is not true?
Most of the so-called organic color capsicum is not organic.
It's not possible, right?
Not possible. Bhoomi has been trying to grow capsicum for the last 6 years. And till now, I know only one farmer who grows for Bhoomi, able to crack it.
Only one farmer.
Yes. And we have been trying to learn from him. He's a hardcore natural farmer. And he has cracked it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm yet to meet him. I would love to meet him and learn from him. And I've already sent my top agronomist to spend time with him and understand how he grows color capsicum. So hopefully that can be used by
In greenhouse.
Yes. It can be used by other capsicum farmers to grow organic color capsicum. So if anybody is selling you organic color capsicum, please ask them.
Where is
Please
the farm?
don't cheat me.
Who's
There
the
is no organic capsicum itself.
Green capsicum also.
It's very hard.
Why?
In the open field, a lot of naughty capsicum grows. So that is more trustworthy organic. See, the green capsicum, right, and the color capsicum, I think the seeds have been developed for hydroponics. In soil, they don't grow well. In hydroponics, they grow beautifully. So the seed has been targeted to grow in hydroponic medium. Second aspect is these plants, right, they are extremely sensitive to disease and pest. So the thrips, right, we cannot control it. It's out of control. And it grows beautifully, produces the first 10 capsicum fruits. And by the time the 11th capsicum fruit is there, it is already, you can give enough nutrition, you can spray it, you can do all kinds of dance with it with organic methods. The best yield we got is 1.2 kg per plant. Sometimes 1.5 kg. Makes it very costly to grow it. It requires daily management, daily maintenance, daily love and care for no result. We still grow capsicum at a loss. Yeah. Because we grow 90 vegetables, we can grow.
Manages. And one more point you mentioned is about the seed. I'm assuming in your business you use all hybrid seeds itself, because traditionally good organic farming was possible only with the desi seeds, the original seeds, right?
Correct.
When I'm using hybrid seeds, it's still organic farming, right?
It's correct.
It's okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
And then organic farming practices work well with them?
Yeah, work very well with them. You cannot build a business with the naughty seeds. Today, in America, it's possible, by the way.
Why?
Because in America, there are enough organic seed companies. In India, the so-called organic seed companies, their seeds are germination issues, seeds have viability issues, seeds have supply issues. Today, I may be using maybe 50 kg of Palak seed per week. 50 kg.
Per week.
Per week. Very soon, Bhoomi will start using it per day. Bhoomi's production is going through the roof. We, harvest 25 tons per day. 25,000 kg per day today in Bhoomi. And it's going to become 50,000 kg in 6 months.
So you need proper seed supply.
Yeah. And we can keep talking theory about nutty seeds because those days farmers preserved the seeds. Today, farmers not saving seed. We have to depend on 25 plus seed companies in India. And I wish there are organic seed companies in India. I can keep dreaming about it. But I cannot start an organic seed company because that's a separate business. It has got its own complexity. You know it. So I have to depend on these 25 plus seed companies.
And just quick shift at Bhoomi, whatever you're doing is mixed cropping everywhere or monocropping model as well?
See, there is this confusion about monocropping, mixed cropping and all that. In commercial organic farming, if you plant a half acre tomato, you better plant only tomato.
Why? Everyone says like you
Put a
mentioned.
basil next to it. These are all baby talk.
Really?
Yeah. Because basil requires different management. Tomato requires different management. Basil and tomato coexist beautifully in your gardens where you grow 10 beds. Or you're growing something to showcase. But in commercial farming, when you are growing tomatoes, lot of things matter. When you spray something on tomato, which is an organic spray, that can have different impact on basil leaf, right? And when it rains, okay, you need to spray organic fungicide on the tomato. That can have different effect on the basil. You don't want to have cultural practices for one crop that is different from the other crop. Instead, I recommend growing lettuce with tomato. We always grow lettuce and greens with tomato.
Same field.
Same field, next to each other. Because greens are gone in 30 days by the time tomato is this tall.
But you're still doing mixed cropping, right?
Yeah, we are doing. Basil keeps on growing. It is like a 120-day crop, basil. You can keep harvesting basil. You don't want to grow this and that together. We even tried growing cabbage with green beans. Failed. Because cabbage sucks nutrition so fast from the soil. Beans won't give enough yield. Beans will give so much shade to the cabbage that cabbage will not form head faster. The head formation, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen faster. It's a bad idea to combine them. We wanted to do all that.
No, but you're saying mixed cropping should be done, but with the right crops.
Right crops. And crop rotation is more important. Giving rest to the soil is more important. And a natural fumigation of the soil by exposing the soil to sun is more important.
But you say don't expose the soil to the sun.
When you are accumulating disease in organic farming, you have to expose the soil to the sun. There is no other way. If your farming methods are so good that you are not accumulating disease, then you don't have to expose the soil to the sun.
Got it. Again,
for example, you can have nematodes in the soil. Then you have to give a break. You can't keep on growing crops that encourage nematodes.
This happens in organic farming also.
Yes, definitely. Every problem that happens in agriculture happens in organic farming also.
So we talk so much about incentive on volume, like paying as per this thing. I know this is a topic I want to discuss before we close. We don't talk so much about nutrition density, right?
Correct.
Even before we get into the topic of nutrition density, for a youngster watching this podcast, can that be a business idea where he sells produce, focus on nutrient density and gets the reward for that? Or is Indian market not yet there?
See, markets sometimes are what we create. So if a smart business mind comes into the ecosystem and truly develops great soil in which great food is grown and repeated measurements have been done on nutrition content of the product, it will definitely market well.
It's a good
because
business.
Because the taste will be stunning. Taste will be amazing. The quality will be good. Today, the focus is basically looks, keeping quality, meaning shelf life. Third is yield. So the farmers are pumping chemicals into the soil that is dead to make sure these three are met. But you will notice that organic vegetables don't rot fast. Chemical vegetables will rot very fast. Right? So, with organic soil and regenerative soil, healthy soil, I think nutrition is natural. If you can demonstrate consistently with data that your food has nutrition density. Nutrition density is simple. Amount of nutrition per gram of food, that's all.
Yeah.
For example, meat is a highly nutrition dense food because nutrition accumulates in meat. But a vegetable need not be nutrition dense all the time. unless you make specific efforts. So basically, if you can demonstrate with data that your food is nutrition dense, then it will sell. Definitely, there will be some buyers. But today, for organic, I believe the market in entire India is probably 10% or 14 crores. 14 to 15 crores people are ready to buy organic. But for nutrition dense, maybe 1.4 crore. That 10% of 10%.
Small market, but
Small
maybe
market.
it'll grow. And
It's
like,
a niche market.
but I really think it's an opportunity personally.
Correct.
Let's talk about the consumer, sir. Abhi, nutrition density, for example, today I eat a blueberry thinking it's a very healthy blueberry, right? And I would like to believe it's a healthy blueberry, even if someone tells me it's not. Like, come on, otherwise living life becomes very difficult because you don't know anything is healthy or not healthy, right? This is the major problem we are going through. Most people eat a vegetable or a fruit or anything thinking it's healthy. But like we've discussed, it might not necessarily have the nutrient at all. So my point being, should a customer or should a consumer not eat vegetables at all, or eat vegetables, let's say, which have pesticides or chemicals in them, which according to you is a better option?
You are talking about a situation where you want to buy organic vegetable, but you are not able to trust or find the organic vegetable.
That could be the
And,
situation, or the situation could also be that a lot of someone else was telling me on the podcast that nowadays a lot of kids are reading these news articles that there's a lot of pesticides and they're using that as an excuse to not eat vegetables at all.
Yes.
I don't know how
Very
true
smart.
how true it is.
Yeah.
But he gave me an answer which I won't tell you now because I want to get your authentic answer. What do you feel about this?
See, pesticides are dangerous. Not just pesticides, today's food is laden with heavy metals. Heavy metals are extremely dangerous to us. I would recommend doing a lot of hard work to find organic vegetables.
Let's say I can't. I'm just giving
You
a.
can't. You have to eat vegetables.
Even if it's chemically grown.
Yeah, because the nutrition aspect is something you need to worry about. Vegetables, particularly all the colors, I would recommend for a human being today, given the condition of the soil, where soil is very weak, I would recommend you eating 200 varieties of not just vegetables, but fruits, basically all the spices, all the grains, variety. Spices, grains, eggs, maybe if you can eat eggs. You can eat greens, variety of colors. I would say suggest 200 sources of nutrients per month in your food plate. Because whatever is missing nutrient in this can come in another form, in another vegetable. Basically, I say as a consumer, attack the soil deficiencies by increasing variety in your food. For example, coffee can contain nutrients. Dark chocolate can contain a lot of nutrients. So they come from different locations. And trees can get a lot of nutrients deep from the soil. But even today, oranges are horrible in taste because they are not grown properly. Right? They don't contain vitamin C, oranges. So that's a sad truth. So if the soil was good, if the plants were getting proper nutrition, the taste itself will be out of the world. The smell will be out of the world. So in the vegetables and fruits, there is the texture, there is the look, there is the appearance, there is the texture, there is the smell, and then there is the taste. All matter. And they all will tell you very clearly whether the blueberry or whatever you're eating has enough nutrient content. I have eaten the sweetest blueberry and a hardly sweet blueberry. And I have clear idea that this is bad blueberry, this is good blueberry.
What is good blueberry? Because blueberry traditionally is American. Like it was grown.
See, good blueberry should have very high bricks content. I don't know the exact bricks. Very high bricks content. Good blueberry should have enough phytonutrients and antioxidants. As a human being, only your tongue will be able to tell you. But you can do tests. You can ask the company selling blueberries to do the test. And doing nutrient testing is not difficult. You can do it. Absolutely.
Got it. And another very important
For
concept.
10,000 rupees, if you're selling expensive blueberries, you can do proper nutrient test with a company that has all the equipment.
Hmm. And I just want to touch base on this because I know you feel strongly, and I don't want you to hold any filters.
Mm.
Just speak on your mind, right?
Mhm.
Because when we talk about hydroponic food, right? For example, let's continue the conversation of blueberry itself.
Mm.
So, blueberry today in India, every single blueberry supplier
Mhm.
is asking you to grow it hydroponically. Nobody is asking you to grow in soil.
Correct.
Nobody, they in fact say if you can't do it in soil, if you can't do it soilless, don't do it. This is because I haven't spoken to lots of blueberry plant suppliers, right? Now, how is that blueberry grown hydroponically different as compared to the blueberries you used to have back in Silicon Valley?
Yeah. So I know a blueberry grower in Canada. Okay. He's a Sikh. Okay. I can share his contact. He grows in soil only. See, some soils support blueberry production. But farmers today are business minded and they can grow. Now, with hydroponics, they can grow anywhere.
Hmm.
So, the hydroponics gives the true advantage that you can grow a crop that is commercially viable, makes money because there's demand is very high
Hmm.
through hydroponic methods. My biggest concerns are environmental concerns and the cost of setting it up. And the third is you cannot match the soil.
Nutrition value can't be.
Nutrition value can never be matched,
Hmm.
because human beings and soil are connected. We are soil.
Hmm.
So you cannot bring an artificial method into the equation. I explained to you about cobalt.
Hmm.
So cobalt is not there in any hydroponic crop. So cobalt can be added chemically. Okay, and no, nobody is adding it these days. So there can be all kinds of trace nutrients and micronutrients that have tremendous impact on your health. So I just gave you an example that if a person eats only hydroponic food for 6 months, he will go to hospital, right? Because there are so many minerals that are missing in the hydroponic food.
But even in soil food today, it could be missing, right?
It could be missing, absolutely, yes.
Hmm.
But the beauty is in the soil, okay? Because if the farmer is able to do a good job of doing the biology, it will at least extract all the nutrients that are there in that soil
Hmm.
and provide it to the plant.
One last point, sir, to educate sort of the people. Like you mentioned, we are soil. Human beings are soil. And the ultimate connection is between soil microbiome and gut microbiome.
Correct.
I think these two have a close connection, right?
Mhm.
Gut microbiome you mentioned earlier also, it's very important. Is there anything else you want to discuss about this? How the soil is connected to the gut, or how the soil microbiome is connected to the gut microbiome? What should people know about this so that they can, let's say, buy better produce?
Yeah, as I told you, organic produce where chemicals were not used,
Hmm.
toxic chemicals particularly were not used, will contain more microbial organisms. What do you call them? Call them endocytes. Give them a technical name. They will contain lot of microorganisms, and those microorganisms have to enter your system.
Hmm.
In fact, you can refer to Mark Hyman, you can refer to Dr. Zach Bush, you can refer to so many scientific journals and publications. The body has more microbes than human cells.
Hmm.
We are a living ecosystem of microbes. So, adding chemicals to the body will start killing those microbes. That's the first biggest challenge. We don't understand many things. Second thing is the microbiome is called the second brain, the gut microbiome
Hmm.
for the human beings. For your very health, mental well being, your gut microbiome is essential. And the way to improve the gut microbiome is through fermentation, which we have fermented things like, kimchi, you've
Hmm.
got curd, you got yogurt, you also have fermented teas,
Hmm.
the kombuchas. That is one way to build the gut microbiome. The second way is to eat a lot of whole grains, sprout them and eat them. The moment you do sprouting, all the bacteria living in the seed start growing.
Hmm.
For example, take an organic corn seed, not chemically grown or GMO corn seed. The organic corn seed contains 9 billion bacteria sleeping inside it. Please count 900 crores bacteria
Hmm.
in a single corn seed. Can you believe this? So you take water without any bacteria.
Hmm.
Take distilled water, put that corn seed and make it germinate. That water will be full of the bacteria that was present in the corn seed. The dormant bacteria would have come alive. So every aspect of the soil ecosystem and the plant ecosystem
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
is full of life. Why kill it with chemicals and death and then inject it into us so that we are also full of chemicals and dead food? When your whole body is alive
Hmm.
with so many microorganisms. This is the challenge. This is the question we need to go deeper.
If there's sort of, I feel consumers play a very important role in this movement, like we've always discussed off camera. If there's sort of one message or one thought you would want to leave the consumers with before we close this podcast,
Mhm.
or request them to think in one direction, what would that be? Because this has been a long podcast, it's been technical.
Correct.
What's the one final takeaway or one final message?
The message is, we spend,
Hmm.
we want to buy a phone cover. It's 500 rupees. We definitely do some research. But if we want to buy food, food is taken casually. Please take what you put in your mouth very seriously. 70% of all disease
Hmm.
comes from what you eat. So please, please research more about where your food comes from, who's your farmer, and pay fair price. And pay any price, in my opinion,
Hmm. Hmm.
to
Hmm.
make sure your family is safe. That's my message.
Because the price of being sick is very, very high.
Yeah. So sometimes I think I am 52 and I think I am so lucky to have lived this far.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
As I told you, some of my cousins died of cancer.
Hmm.
They could be living right now. And every day I breathe. I am very full of gratitude. I have full gratitude for the air I breathe
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
because I may not be breathing right now. And health is taken casually till you become sick.
True.
And what you eat, 70% of your health decided by what you eat. And don't take eating food very casually at all. Once you set your systems in place, it will become normal to
Hmm.
eat healthy food. So research about healthy food, find out what is healthy, what is not healthy, and go to people who actually have done it, who grow the food, rather than go to just a nutritionist. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I personally asked a lot of this because I feel I would want to commit maybe the next 10 years or 15 years of my life into this direction, right? There is a lot of demand, which I believe, and there's a lot of education which is needed. And I think this episode has been a good foundation for that. So thank you for your time and all the best with what you do. I hope Bhoomi and you are able to achieve the mission and vision you're chasing after.
Thank you.